It's time for another episode of Hops and Hedges, where we talk everything beer and landscaping and everything in between. So crack open a cold one and let's dig in. And here we are. Carla, how are you?
Life is awesome, Heather. Life cannot be better.
I love that. The only thing that could be better with mine is if it wasn't snowing and I could garden, but besides that, life is
I
pretty
could do
darn good.
without the 15 centimeters and freezing
And
rain.
it
I could
just
do
keeps
without
going.
that.
You're probably
Uh,
enjoying not working in snow anymore, though.
you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed what I used to do. I like the company that I used to work for, the people I was with. I have never slept so well in January in my life.
Me
There
too.
is no 10 o'clock, oh shoot, it's having an event tomorrow
Yep.
text message. And I almost feel guilty about how happy I am.
I still feel guilty. And it's been 3 years for me that since I've done snow, and 3 years that my phone has been on silent. And I check my phone when I want to check my phone, and there's no 2 o'clock phone calls. Oh, it's great. It's just great.
Yes.
So, for those of you guys tuning in, with me today is Carla Bailey from London, Ontario. She is the proprietor of Solutions by CB, and you are HR extraordinaire,
I
human
am.
resource.
Ooh,
That's you.
it is. It's how I lived my life for the past 12 and a bit years in the landscaping field. And I realized over, especially going through COVID, there's a lot more to life out there. Um,
Hmm.
and then, as you do, you sit down with your family and you go, okay, I think I'm going to make this change. And you don't realize really what possibilities are out there until you're doing it. Um, Being a part of Landscape Ontario to the extent that I've been over the last 12 years has been really opening my eyes as to there are some fantastic companies out there that are doing really great things.
Yep.
They just don't have that HR support of, no, you do need an employment agreement,
Hmm.
and a little bit of cover yourself. And if you want to learn from my, $30,000 mistakes so you don't have to make the same ones,
Hmm.
I thought I'd start my own business so we can do it.
And so you've been in business for yourself for 7 months now, and you work business to business. So like myself, so I'm a
Yes.
landscape designer and I work business to business, sometimes with homeowners, but it's primarily business to business. So could you explain, because it's really unique, I think, what you're doing. And as far as I know, maybe because you'd be my first choice, so I don't even know who else, like nobody comes to
Woohoo!
mind. But for those tuning in, could you explain what it is that you do?
For sure. So, Solutions by CB is a boutique HR firm that comes to help small and mid-sized companies lay a really good foundation for the success of their people, which is probably the most difficult part of our industry. So what that can look like is injecting the organization with some government programs, government grants. It could be, going back to the basic of agreements and employment letters and kind of taking off, which a lot of people don't find comfortable. If you're a business owner, you're in that business mind your own set and you want to,
Yeah.
you know, make money. Your job is to thinking, what can I sell? What can I get done? And you don't really want to sit back and check all of the administrative boxes. So I'm able to come in and check off those administrative boxes while you're out there doing what you do and you're good
Mm,
at.
which sounds like a dream to me. I mean, I don't have any employees, it's just me. But man, you can bet as soon as I have employees, I'm going to be calling you to be like, listen, you need to take this over for me because that's me. The business, I'm the person who I just want to garden and I want to design plants and I want to select plants and, nerd out in greenhouses. The admin HR stuff uh is like my second least favorite thing, first being bookkeeping and finance. Ugh,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
HR is a close second for
And
me.
as a lot of business owners did, the very first thing they hopefully did was find a bookkeeper, find an accountant, find
Hmm.
their tax person. And I'm hoping more people are going to start realizing that the second thing that they should be doing, if they have staff,
Absolutely.
is just as vital because you're not going to allow somebody to run around with your bank account, but you're going to give somebody a $70,000 truck and you haven't done a background check on them.
Uh, That makes me anxious and nervous.
Yes.
Right? Oh my gosh, so many things. So we're going to talk a little bit more about your business and kind of how you got into it and whatnot. But I want to know, do you have a beer with you?
I have a shandy with me.
Okay.
Um,
And sorry, what's
so
a shanty?
shandy is a half a lager, so like Coors Light,
Yep.
and then half lemonade or 7-Up or Sprite. And it just kind of
Okay.
cuts it a little bit. It's a little
Yep.
bit sweeter. Kind of think like a Radler, but not
Yep.
as yeah.
Okay, so you've got Coors Light with 7 Up.
I do. It doesn't sound good when you say it, but it is summertime delicious.
Hey,
So,
no judgment, no judgment. I've actually got a an episode coming up. I'm not going to say who it is, but I'm really excited to have him on the show. And he's been alcohol free for a good long while. And we're going to be talking about some alcohol free beers because over his
nice.
time, he's found some really good ones. So I'm really, really excited for that one.
What are you drinking then? What have you got going
Um,
on over there?
I am drinking my number one favorite. This is my all-time number one favorite beer, Voodoo Ranger. It is my, yeah, just all-time favorite. I discovered this on one of the RV trips with my bestie Angela.
Ooh.
We showed up at this
Oh,
dive of a place and I assumed they would have no beers. One of those kind of places, right? I thought they'd have, oh, like Bud and Coors Light. And then they brought me this list of 60 craft beers that they were serving. And
oh,
I was like Christmas.
Heather.
It was like Christmas. And so that's where I found this one. And this is my go-to for sure. Um, so hold on, let me just scroll through here because I know what I was going to ask you about. Oh yeah, the sub program. So, again, this is something that I think is so cool that we have in Ontario, right? Or is this a Canada-wide thing, or it's the Ontario, it's a sub program for Ontarians, right?
It is, so it's a federally regulated program. So it is across Canada. It's coast to coast to coast.
Okay.
And I love this industry because I will sit at a table with you guys and you plant people and you'll talk around about your plants and your clippings. And I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you about my favorite government programs. So the supplemental unemployment program is this amazing ability for an employer that goes through perhaps a seasonal layoff, like, snow,
Mm-hmm.
and they're able to retain their staff by helping them out financially. And they're able to recruit newcomers to the industry by offering them full year-round employment income opportunities. Like, and it's
Right?
perfectly legal. It doesn't sound like
Yeah.
it should be.
I remember you saying that before in a talk. It's like, it doesn't sound legal, but I promise you it is. It's totally legal.
Yeah,
It's government funded.
totally legal. It's government funded or it's government supported.
Right.
It's business funded.
Yeah.
So, let's use company ABC. They do lawn maintenance in the summer and they do snow removal and ice removal in the winter. There's a whole bunch of technicalities in the background. If your employment goes under 40 hours a week for so many weeks, technically you're supposed to receive a record of employment. And when you receive a record of employment, you're allowed to sign up for employment insurance. My first flag there for a lot of people is they look at employment insurance and it cuts their ego. They don't want to be on EI. That's for
No.
other people. Let me tell you about EI. You started working when you're 16 years old. You're going to work until you're 65 years old or 67 years old in this country. Treat it like it's a savings account.
Hmm. That's a good way to
So
put it.
now you've earned it. You've put your money into it. It's now a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to sign up for EI because your hours have gone from 40 to, casual on call snow removal. But let's be honest with ourselves. $678 before taxes weekly is not going to afford you rent. It is not going to afford you rent plus a car plus food plus babies. There's no way
Yeah.
that you can live off of it for $2,000 a month. What the sub-program allows your business to do, ABC Business is now able to give money to their staff member that's on a valid EI claim So they're going to earn that $678 gross from the government. And as an employer, we're allowed to top them up to 90% of their weekly summer average all winter long.
Hmm.
Now, let's talk about the fact that I'm not an accountant for a hot second. So simple math. Your folk is used to $1,000 a week gross all summer long, 35 weeks.
Yep.
In the winter, your folk can now become used to $950.
That hurts a lot
So
less than 600.
hurts a lot less. Now the government's going to pay upwards of that 678. The company's going to do the rest of that top up.
Hmm.
Now, if they work, there might be hours worked labor involved in that. So there's two coming from the company and one coming from the government.
Hmm.
But again, we go back to how much is a good employee worth?
We've heard that at a number of different talks and seminars, right? We always look at their hourly rate or maybe the benefits that they get or company work vehicle. But if you lose that person and you have to retrain someone else, that is a high cost.
I read the most insane number the other day, 218%. A trained employee versus a brand new employee, the trained employee is bringing 218% more revenue to the business.
I see that.
So if we can support our staff members through the winter season when they're going through financial hardship because we don't have a lot of work for them, however, we can bring them back and they're trained and they understand the business.
Yep.
Why are you not on the program? Why are you wanting to spend all of that money on boarding and training and broken equipment and damaged sites for?
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's something that a lot of companies are saying is a big hurdle right now. You know, we see it in the, not the early onset, the Employers of Choice program, like through the GROW program in London, Ontario. This is a huge hurdle that companies are facing, that they're losing employees. They don't know how to find qualified employees from ground zero. And then all of that time and money to train them, it's huge. So if there's a way that we can keep our guys and girls over winter so that they will come back and work for us in the spring, that's huge.
Exactly.
And that's what the sub program is.
I love the sub program for that side of it. And I think where I lose some people is, well, maybe not over COVID. COVID, I think, opened a lot of people's eyes to our industry because we were outside working. We got to keep working. There was about a 2-month shutdown. And then we were some of the first industries back to work.
Yep.
When everybody else saw that landscaping and landscape construction, landscape softscape, irrigation, when we got back to work, there was a lot of people off of work. And now they're looking at, hey, here's this whole industry out there that I could potentially join.
Yep.
But my mortgage is going to happen over the winter, my rent, my car, my kids, all of that stuff. Here's an opportunity to look at people that have completely different skill sets that would really boost our industry by offering year-round income.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
It seems if you're the company in that neighborhood, in that community, and you're the company offering it, I could talk about the sub program for hours. I have talked about the sub program for hours.
Yep.
But if you're that company offering it and you're treating your staff correctly and you're doing all of the things that are part of the Employers of Choice program and you're in your community, your steps leaps bounds ahead of the other companies that will sit there complaining that they're short-staffed and not do a damn thing to fix it.
And that's the sub program. So I would say anybody who's listening, and there will be information somewhere. I haven't quite figured out how to do the thing where there's information and links, and I'll figure it out. It's funny. So when this episode talk about ADHD, here I am talking about something else already. Let me come back to whatever I was saying. Sub program. There will be a link, because I do invite any small, medium, or large size business who's in landscaping, who's working here in Ontario, maybe abroad. I'm not sure how because I know business to business, you of course do consultations virtually. But if you want to know more about the sub program, contact Carla at Solutions by CB. She's online. You can find her. So I just wanted to take a moment to say that. But yeah, so by the time this episode gets published, I will have been podcasting for a month, month and a half, more than 2 months, actually. Something, I don't know. I don't remember. But today, right now, when we're recording this, I've been doing it for 6 days. Right. So
Yes,
when I say I'm still
you're doing
learning
great.
how to post the things, you know,
All of a
just
sudden, I'm
stay
worried because
tuned.
I'm a hand talker, and it's like, are there going to be
That's
links? And
okay.
I'm like,
I can be a
windshield
hand
wipers
talker
over
with
here.
you. We can both do the windshield wipers, and we're just going to totally mess up the software when it's like, oh, are you trying to ASL something? Let me add that in the subtitles. Hopefully, I'm not swearing. I don't know ASL, by the way. So if something shows up in ASL, I promise you it's a total accident.
It's a fluke.
Totally funny. So one of the things in the pre-questionnaire that you said when I was just asking you about the biggest hurdle that you or your company is facing right now, you listed right away getting the name out there. And just recently, so I've been in business, my own company for 3 years. You've been doing this for 7 months, but you've been doing it for 12 years more. And the word obscurity is something that's coming into my life and the different seminars, Landscape Ontario Congress that we were just at, my business coach, which actually I have a couple, but not just obscurity about landscape, not necessarily Landscape Ontario, but our industry and our profession as a whole,
Yeah.
that both members of the general public, so homeowners, or they own a building that has grass, and they don't realize that there is a whole profession out there of trained professionals who know how to help you. And even if people think that, oh, there's people out there who can help me with this, they don't know where to look. Right. And that was
Yeah.
one of the things with this podcast is I thought, man, I've got an incredible network, right? You included. I'm like, how can we get ourselves out there? It's not just about me tooting my horn and this is what I do, but there's some really cool people out there doing some really cool stuff. And if we can spread the word somehow about what we're doing, right? It's hard to get noticed when there's
100%. So I entered the industry about 12 years ago. I used to manage hotels. I have from Fanshawe College, I went into hotel management, and life was changing. So as you do, you make changes.
Mhm.
I applied to be a chapter coordinator for this random organization called Landscape Ontario. I had never heard of. I assumed it was like this small grassroots thing.
Aw,
Like,
that's so
and I
sweet.
walked into this meeting with three amazing people that I still am able to call to this day, and worked at Landscape Ontario for about 9 months. Um, and I didn't know when I started working for them the multi-billion-dollar industry that employs hundreds of thousands of people in the province of Ontario, at least, that legitimately goes from the very southern point in Peely to the very northern points.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea because landscaping, it's a 15-year-old kid with a push mower
Yep.
and they come and knock on your door for beer money. Okay, maybe they're 19 for beer money, but
Yep. You and I
we
were
both
maybe
know
15 when we were cutting grass for beer money, but I guess that's frowned
that.
upon now.
Maybe they're doing it for some Sephora money or whatever the kids
Yeah.
are doing these days. Um, so it wasn't a career and there was a seasonal layoff. So why would you get a job that's going to lay you off and you don't have money for 5 months, right?
Yep.
And then I started learning about these amazing companies and these amazing jobs. One of my best friends gets paid to count trees and bushes and shrubs along the road. She's a certified arborist. She knows all of the widgets and all of the words.
She's
And
the one I'm interviewing this evening.
nope, that's another one. I'll have to put you in touch with that one. So she's a landscape architect, and she's a certified arborist. And she, for a few years, her job was to count trees and bushes and shrubs. And I'm not knocking that. I want everyone to hear, I didn't know that existed,
Right. Mhm.
right? Because so many people, my family, your family, know that landscaping is for high school students and college students, and it's your summer job.
Right.
There's no career opportunities.
Hmm.
There is, oh God, I'm going to get the company name wrong. I'm going to get it wrong, so I'm going to skip it. He's out
Okay.
of Toronto. He started cutting grass when he was 9. Okay, cutting grass. Like he's going around his neighborhood with his little lawnmower. Probably
Yeah.
dad was at the end of the driveway cutting grass. So he's not 30. He owns a multi-million-dollar company in downtown Toronto that employs 80 people.
Wow.
And people don't know these stories. People aren't hearing, if you're really, we're talking, I'm going very production heavy. They also have to have HR managers. They also have to have bookkeepers. They also have to have financial analysts. They have to
Yeah.
have the entire support system. And again, I'm going towards thinking as a landscaping company, but what about where the landscaping company buys things?
Yep.
Where are the plants coming from? Where's the softscape coming from? Where are the bricks and stones coming from? From those beautiful pools, where's the pool liner coming
It's
from?
huge. Like just the connections and the networking and something too that I noticed very early on is that each landscaping company, and not even necessarily landscaping company, right? Because here you are an HR firm, you are not a landscaping company. However, I include you with that because it's almost like we all have our own niche. And for some people, the niche would be their location, and maybe they just cut grass, right? For
Yeah.
other people, HR is the niche, right? For me, it's landscape design. But everybody works together in ways that I've not
Yes.
seen in any other industry. And I mean, before I found landscaping, I had 32 different jobs at the age of 26. It was awful. And it's so
You know what? It
cutthroat.
showed you a lot. It showed you a lot of what you weren't willing to do,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. So,
Right.
and
And
it's,
sometimes you need to learn what you aren't willing to do to really get into your using your words, that niche
yeah,
of like, if my kid, I have a niece and nephew in my life, and they obviously are the best because they're mine.
clearly. Yeah.
Um, you know, if they were to turn around and go, I really want to be outside all day. I don't want to sit behind a desk all day. I don't want to sit and be on the phone all day.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people would naturally go, okay, is that a warehouse job? Is what type of industrial job that is?
Yeah.
And they forget that like Parks Ontario is an absolutely massive organization, which if you had a horticultural background, you would probably be very successful at.
Right.
And it's explaining that you don't have to do the 4-year degree.
Yep.
You can you can do the GROW program, the Landscape Ontario's GROW program, if you've never
Hmm.
heard of landscaping before. There's apprenticeship, there's 2-year degrees, there's 3-year or diplomas and 3-year diplomas. You don't have to strap yourself down to a university just because that's what the guidance
Everybody tells us
counselors
to do.
at your high school told you to
Your
do because that's
parents,
all
your
that they
friends,
know.
your aunts and
Yeah, and I don't
uncles, everybody tells you, right?
and it is what it is, but it to go back to your original part of your question, the obscurity of our industry is
Hmm.
everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, we have a large condominium community in London.
Hmm.
Um, they're not cutting their own grass. I
No.
hate to surprise people with that one.
Yeah.
Um, they know the grass gets cut.
Yeah.
They know the snow goes away.
Right.
We're the people in the background that are doing those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And talking about so you worked in HR for 12 plus years, started your own company in 7 months ago. So did you ever think you'd be a business owner?
No, absolutely not. Sorry.
That's
Oh,
okay. I'm laughing too, because me neither. Like,
no. Um, my father and my mother were not business owners. It was not part of our family scope in any way, shape, or form.
mhm.
Um, and this is going to be a rambly answer, so walk with me.
I'm ready for it.
All right. My brother worked at the same landscaping company that I used to work at
Hmm.
about 10 years before me. And he would come in and speak highly of this business, um, learned a lot of this business, and decided to actually take the skill sets that he learned in the construction department and put it into like more home construction. So he went into being a roofer, he went into windows and doors, and about, I guess 8 years ago, 7 years ago, he decided to start his own windows and doors company.
Hmm.
And I'm like, well, that's fucking weird. Not that it shouldn't exist at all, but like,
Right.
who are you to own a business?
Mm-hmm.
Again, not to cut my brother's ankles out, but like, who are you? That's for those people. We're not those
Right.
people. And maybe there's like a generational mindset that we need to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, time passes. I'm at this landscaping company now. I'm learning all of these things. I'm learning some massive mistakes, but I'm learning a lot of good stuff as well. And I'm meeting, I think you and I have the same mentor. At least one of our mentors is, I think, is the same mentor. Having a lot of conversations, and very abruptly asked me on probably one of those phone calls where you're half crying, half talking, but not really getting a word out. Do you realize there's other things you could be doing?
Mm-hmm.
And wrote out my resume, got everything ready. And then my mentor introduced me to this one person. And this one person said, the right thing at the right time in the right mindset. And I said to myself, what is the absolute worst possible thing could
Mm-hmm.
happen? You have to go get a job.
Right.
I'm not throwing myself bodily down a wood chipper,
Nope.
not falling off of a glacier. I'm not dying, and
Yeah.
I'm not killing somebody else.
What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst possible thing that could happen? I have to go find a job.
Right.
Okay, cool. Walked into work on the Monday morning after thinking about this for about 3.5 days, and gave my notice.
That's huge.
And the Friday was my last day. On the Monday, I had flown to Alberta to onboard my first client. So,
Wow.
no, I never thought that this would be Solutions by CB wasn't even an earwig
Yep.
of a concept.
So funny.
And then over the span of about 5 days, it happened.
Yep. It's crazy when you're mentioning your brother starting a business and how you said, who are you to start a business? And isn't it interesting how that is what we tell ourselves, right? That's imposter syndrome 101. And we put it out there onto somebody else because that's exactly what we're thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
And you know what?
incredible.
He has run a great company. He's had, I think he's had 2 employees over the last few summers. He's doing fantastic. And you were so right about the imposter syndrome of when I heard it. I was like, that's not what we do.
Yep.
We don't do that. We're employees.
Yep.
And it took my brother kind of making it in my world.
Yep.
Then when, you talk to the mentors and you talk to the people in your corner that are like, you know what? Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah. It's crazy when I often think of the number of books that say you are who you hang out with, right? Or always try to be I'm gonna wreck the quote, but it's like be the dumbest one in the room type thing.
I
If
love that
if you're
quote. If
the
you're the
smartest
smartest one
one
at
in the
the
room,
table,
you're in the
you're
wrong
at the
table.
wrong table.
Yes. Or the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? And so that sort of thing. And I've often thought, I mean, for the last 10 years that I've been in landscaping, that I've always been the dumbest one in the room, right? And in a good way, because I'm surrounded by my peers in the peer-to-peer network specifically. And it took COVID for me to then see all of them on I was going to say my COVID screen. It wasn't a COVID screen. We were having a meeting during COVID on Zoom, and they were all there. And I realized that I'm in this room with people who are not employees. And it kind of struck me as like, these are my people. This is my tribe. And it was like, holy smokes. I think I've been training for this. Like it was so surreal. So surreal.
The group in the peer-to-peer network are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And like, not welling up over here at all. um, the amount of support that I received from that group. Obviously, like when I left where I was, it was middle of season. Everyone was quite busy.
Mm-hmm.
Congress happens last week. The first time I've been able, or 2 weeks ago, who knows at this point. First time I've actually been able to talk to a lot of them. And the amount of support that was just immediately given,
Yeah.
the amount of, um, I don't know how to say it, like the pats on the back, like the hug of kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
you're one of us, which was mind blowing. And the fact that apparently 90% of them didn't know that I had left was also like,
Right.
oh, okay, these people actually care what's going on. I need to
Yeah.
include them
I
on this
love how
conversation.
transparent the members are. They're all so
Yes,
vulnerable with each other and so
very.
ready to listen and help. It's not a
Yes.
bunch of, it's not this panel of people who are smarter than you and who are going to fix all your problems, but they are there, ready and willing and open to answer any questions you have about anything ever. And it's a perk that
It,
you get with the Landscape Ontario membership. I was like,
yeah.
why are there not more peer-to-peer members? Oh my gosh, you guys are missing out. Like,
The Monday session with Jim Palush and the depressed motivational speaker and having,
yep, it
oh, the vulnerability in that room
was a heavy
of,
day, but amazing.
like I think I was emotionally destroyed for a couple days afterwards. Like it was a good start to Congress, but it was
Yeah.
one of those like,
Oh,
I need to breathe though.
yeah. I
That
think I was
that
telling
session was phenomenal.
I was telling Jackie Hart, who's been, co-pilot not co-piloting, piloting peer-to-peer for years now. But afterwards, I think I was telling her that it was a heavy day, but it was a needed day.
Yeah.
It was kind of one of those days where it brought a lot of um not just depression, but mental health generally to the forefront of all of our minds. And it made
Yes.
us accountable to ourselves. It's like, write it down. What have you been avoiding? Because maybe it's not procrastination. Maybe you have a difficult conversation that you need to have, either with a staff member or yourself, and
Yep.
it's time to face it. And it was just like, okay, I have some work to do. No more putting this under the carpet, right?
I was very thankful for the table that I was sitting at. I had two people there that I have known for some years, so I felt very comfortable, and a few people that I hadn't had an opportunity to meet before, and the different viewpoints regarding mental health and not just depression, but mental health regarding ADHD and autism and mental health regarding anxiety. Um, it was very enlightening. Um, as somebody that has dealt with mental health issues probably since I was 16, 17 years old,
Mm-hmm.
being able to bring my perspective of this is what it feels like when the lights start to get dim and explaining that in a manner where they were actually able to hear it. Our
Yeah,
table got very emotionally in tune with each other at the back, I think is how I'm going to phrase it.
I like that.
Um, there was, you know, there were tears shed at our table.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fantastic because I think it was the first time I ever was very open about when the lights started to get dim
Yeah.
and they were able to actually hear it.
I think it's so important having those, not just that event on its lonesome, but I think it's more important that we as business managers and owners, but then also just people, have these conversations openly, honestly, and transparently, because I think and I believe that we are all dealing with our own stuff, and we all feel like at times that we're dealing with them alone, and we're not. Right? And the more that we have these conversations, the more we realize, oh, this is part of the human condition, and we actually all have something in common. So,
It's interesting because part of the conversation we had back at our table, table number 5, um, there were questions raised of, but why can't you come forward asking for help?
that is a hard thing. Ooh.
And I sat there and I'm like, okay, cool, cool. I'm like, I want you to be in a room that you've never been in before.
Hmm.
And the lights are at 100%. You can see every piece of furniture, every opening, every person. And then I want the light to incrementally start dimming. And I want people to start walking around. And you've never been in this room before.
Yep.
It gets to the point where you don't know that the light is dim.
Right.
You're not recognizing that people are moving around you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only, a lot of people only really get seen when the light is completely off
Right.
and they're walking into things.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're walking into things and the lights are off, you don't know where the person is that you need to go ask help from.
Yep. I remember having a conversation with a therapist. Very similar thing, because they were, I mean, they knew the answer, but they were like, so why haven't you asked for help? And the best way that I've heard it, and I still say it, is that when you are at the bottom of a well, think of a really deep well and it's pitch black down there, and somebody at the top is yelling down, do you need help? Do you need a rope? Number one, you don't have the strength to grab onto a rope. Number
Mhm.
two, you don't know that, you don't recognize the voice. You don't know if you can trust them. And you also have guilt that you are putting them out. This person is
Yeah.
putting effort to throw you a rope. They shouldn't have to do that. No,
Yeah.
I'm fine. Please carry on. And it is so easy to just sit at the bottom of the well and stay there.
The concept of being a burden is
Huge.
a very interesting concept to me. And I would actually, and I'm going to ask your listeners for this. If you have read something, an article, a study, a report, whatever, about the concept of being a burden that resonated with you, I would love to read it. I
Awesome.
would love to know if it's a generational, if it's a
Yep.
birth order, is it a gendered, what is it? Because I know my struggle with the
Mm-hmm.
concept of burden.
Carla,
And
I
I can
hate
see
to
your
cut you
face
off
right now.
there.
I
Yeah,
know.
no, it's more because I'm looking at the clock and we're going to get cut off. I would love to bring you on for a part two. But actually, there's a way that I can add a question and answer on the podcast to get people to write in. So I'm going to put your
Okay.
question on the podcast. Really quickly, do I have time? Yeah, really quickly. Book recommendation. Remarks, I go.
Oh, okay. Oh God, I have like 17 books on the go right now. I just finished Babel, which is set in 16 or 1700s at Oxford University. It's a whole bunch of international students going through this program I'm not going to tell you about that then have
Cool.
to
Very
travel
cool.
related to the
Babel.
program.
We're going
Phenomenal.
to look it up.
Babel.
Sounds good. Awesome. Thanks again for coming on the show. If we get cut
Very
off,
happy to be
I'm not
here.
hanging up on you. It's just my software. But stay tuned because I'm sure we'll have you back for a part two.
Can't wait. So looking
Awesome.
forward to it.
Thanks, Carla. That concludes this week's episode. Tune in every Wednesday for someone new and some new brew. Don't forget to click the follow button to stay in touch. See you next time.